Rare cars usually look, well, rare. Exotic designs, classic curves, cars that make you think, wow, that's special. But what if I told you some of the rarest cars on the road today look completely normal? In this video, we're counting down cars that blend into traffic but are secretly disappearing fast. And the further we'll go, the rarer they get, so stick around to the end to see the rarest one of them all. The car you have a better chance at winning the lottery than seeing one in the wild, actually. First on the list is the Chrysler Crossfire, with only 80,000 units ever sold, and with 289 million cars on the road in America, you have about a 0.0028% chance of spotting one on the road, and that's assuming they all survived. Even though it flopped hard, the Crossfire was bold. Its sharp, angular design stood out against a sea of rounded 2000s cars. Underneath, it was just a Mercedes SLK wearing a Chrysler badge, and that's exactly why people ignored it. At the time, Chrysler was busy making cars like the 300, so adding something like this ambitious to their lineup was a recipe for failure. If you see one, consider yourself lucky, but keep in mind, even though it's rare, it's actually the most common car on this list, and trust me, it only gets crazier from here. Next we have the Subaru Tribeca, with 56,000 units sold. The Tribeca is one of those cars that looks like any other mid-2000s crossover, so you'd think it sold like hotcakes, but nope. Subaru only managed to sell about 56,000 Tribecas in total during its entire production run from 2006 to 2014. To put that into perspective, the Toyota RAV4 sells more than that in just 2 months. So what happened? Well, to put it simply, Subaru tried to go premium before anyone else wanted a premium Subaru, and they gave it that controversial airplane-inspired grille at launch. Yeah, that didn't help. Now here's the crazy part. Despite being the practical 7-seater, it just didn't click with the American market. Most people forgot it even existed. Today, spotting a Tribeca on the road is like spotting a unicorn wearing a Subaru badge. Wanna guess the odds? With around 56,000 sold and over 290 million vehicles in the US, that's about 1 in 5,180 cars. And it's before factoring in how many have been scrapped. So yeah, the next time you see one in traffic, take a picture, because you might not see another for years. Because you actually have a better chance at finding a 4-leaf clover than seeing one. Actually. Next, we have a Suzuki. Not just any Suzuki, a Suzuki actually sold in the US. The Suzuki Kizashi. Now, this one is the ultimate traffic blender. Between 2010 and 2014, Suzuki sold roughly 13,000 of them in the US, which means your odds of spotting one are about 1 in 22,000 cars, and that's before accounting for scrapped or retired vehicles. It's a compact sedan that looks completely normal. Nothing flashy, nothing eye-catching, but that's exactly why it's cool. It sneaks under everyone's radar while still having surprisingly sharp design and decent handling. You'll pass one in traffic and think it's just another sedan until you realize how rare it actually is. Next, jumping down to the 4-figure territory, we have the GMC Cyclone. This is basically the original street-legal turbocharged truck that compares sports cars back in 1991. And most of them didn't survive the 90s. That means your odds of spotting one in traffic today are roughly 1 in 96,000. So yeah, seeing one is basically a small miracle. The Cyclone is ridiculous in every way. It's a tiny, blacked-out truck with a turbo V6 that'll hit 0 to 60 faster than Ferrari of the same era. It looks completely normal if you're not paying attention, which makes catching one even more satisfying. And honestly, even though it's a goofy little truck, there's something cool about a vehicle that just refuses to act like a truck. You could roast it for being weird, but deep down, it's secretly awesome. Next up, we have the Mitsubishi i-MiEV, basically the jelly bean of EVs. It's slow, it's tiny, its range is laughable, but weirdly cool in a retro-futurist flap kind of way. So how rare is it? According to official data, only about 1,800 units were sold in the US through its lifespan. So that puts your odds of spotting one at around 1 in 158,000, or just 0.0006%. That's rarer than being struck by lightning in your lifetime. This thing looks like an egg cart with rear-wheel drive and 66 horsepower, but even in its absurdity, there's still charm. It's an EV with an actual soul. Sure, it's weird and ugly, but it's more quirky than a Tesla Model Y will ever be, and in retrospect, kinda cool in its own way. So yeah, if you see an i-MiEV on the road, consider that a myth confirmed, because your odds of spotting one are slimmer than winning the lottery. But what comes after is twice as rare as this. Next, brace yourself. A car so rare but practically disappears in traffic, most people drive past this without even realizing they just came across insanely rare odds, the Saab 9-4X. This is Saab's SUV attempt, and it's basically a ghost in the US. Only 800 of these cars were ever made, which means your chances of seeing one are roughly 1 in 362,500 cars, about a 0.00028% chance of finding one on the road. You have a better shot at winning the lottery. That's right, rarer than winning the lottery. Its rarity comes from a short production run and Saab's bankruptcy. Most 9-4Xs never made it to customers, which is why spotting one feels like finding Ghost. And don't forget, because this car is 15 years old, your odds of seeing one are even more slim. Around 5% of cars the same age are scrapped in the US, so after some simple math, only 760 remain, which is just insane to think about. This is to visualize how many are left, less than how many F-150s are sold in half a day. So if you ever see one, take a moment to appreciate it, because you and your future bloodline for years to come might not ever see one again. And that concludes our list. Guys, if you own or even just have seen any of these cars, please let me know in the comments below, or even tell me your thoughts about them. But who knows, if this video does well, I might make a part 2 on this video, but for European cars. Thanks for watching, and remember people, drive safe, drive smart, but most importantly, drive something worth talking about. See you in the next one.